Social media platforms are key infrastructures where people interact, express identity, and form communities. These environments shape not only what people share, but how they connect, making them central to community formation online. A useful way to understand this is through platform affordances, the possibilities for action that a platform provides, and how users interpret and use them. These shape patterns of participation, visibility, and connection. Digital fandom is a clear example of this, where shared interpretation and ongoing engagement help produce collective identity. This presentation argues that digital fandom communities form through platform affordances that support three processes: identity expression, shared interpretation, and sustained interaction. This analysis is explored through the comic book platform League of Comic Geeks. To understand League of Comic Geeks, it is useful to briefly look at how the platform developed. League of Comic Geeks was founded in 2010 by comic book enthusiast Jordan Blanco as a passion project. It began as a way to catalogue his personal comic collection and track upcoming releases. At this stage, it functioned primarily as a structured database for organising comic book information. Blanco, with a background in graphic design, aimed to address a common problem for comic book readers, tracking ongoing series and discovering new titles. The project began as an unfunded collaboration involving friends and involving family, with technical support coming from his brother-in-law, who shared an interest in comics and in web developments. This early work shaped the platform's focus on usability and user experience.
My sister was into the comic trading cards, and she met this great guy who, would become her husband. And so my brother-in-law, we kind of came up with this idea because we both loved comics. We were both into technology, and so it kind of evolved from there. But comics really wasn't a part of our families or our lives beyond us individually doing that. And so League of Comic Geeks was a means for us to build a community around us so that we had other like-minded folks that could talk about comics. And if you think about it, League of Comic Geeks is really at its core a social network for comic book fans. So
over time, League of Comic Geeks expanded into a large community-driven platform. As David Harper described in a 2025 Sketched article, it is now quietly the largest pure comic book community online today.
This was a means for me to kind of get this like creative interest out there and to try something new and really push my own skill set further. Ultimately, I really wanted this to be a free tool because I want the comic book community and the industry itself to be better for it. I view it as kind of like an enclosed community where it's difficult to bring in new readers, and it should be. So if I accomplish anything, it doesn't really need to be, money or anything like that. It needs to be, did I get new readers into the hobby? Because I hope so. I hope people can enjoy comic books much in the way that I have over the many years that I've been reading them,
Crucial to this exploration is how League of Comic Geeks differs from contemporary social media platforms. For example, consider Reddit or Tumblr. While these platforms also support fandom activity, they do so in a fundamentally different way. Both are general-purpose platforms, meaning the comic book discussion exists alongside a wide range of unrelated content, unrelated communities, and unrelated media forms. On Reddit, discussion is split across fragmented subreddits, and on Tumblr, fandom circulates through constantly shifting reblogs and algorithmic feeds. In both cases, engagement is dispersed. League of Comic Geeks, by contrast, keeps interaction anchored in the same texts and releases, creating a more continuous shared environment. This makes League of Comic Geeks a strong case study for structured community formation. Building on this, the first area of analysis is identity expression. On League of Comic Geeks, identity is shaped through the platform's structure rather than simply declared by users. As Busher and Hemmond describe, affordances are both functional, the technical features of a platform, and relational, meaning how users interpret and use them. On League of Comic Geeks, these work together to shape how identity becomes visible and recognized. Identity is also shaped through interaction. Comment threads, reviews, ratings, and pull list tracking create spaces for interpretation around specific texts. As noted by Kim et al., when platform activity is persistent and searchable, it creates ongoing points of connection between users. On League of Comic Geeks, this means discussion remains visible and reusable, allowing interpretations to accumulate over time. Identity is further reinforced through participation. Users who consistently contribute become more visible within the platform. As Bruns argues, sustained participation increases visibility and recognition within online communities. On League of Comic Geeks, this produces informal reference points that help structure interaction and stabilize community relationships. In digital fandom, fan objects play a central role. Zhang defines fan objects as material, digital or textual items, which circulate and structure communal activity. In the context of League of Comic Geeks, fan objects take the form of community posts, reviews, ratings, and curated lists. These become shared reference points that anchor discussion and guide engagements. This circulation is enabled by platform features such as comment threads, collections, and searchable activity, which ensure contributions remain visible over time. For example, a review of a newly released issue can be directly responded to by any other League of Comic Geeks user. Over time, these interactions turn individual posts into shared objects of attention that structure interpretation and discussion. Because League of Comic Geeks organizes activity around specific comics and creators, these objects create stable reference points for discussion and debates. As Zhang notes, they allow users to recognize shared knowledge, establish norms, and develop belonging. Users who engage regularly in online communities tend to become more visible and more influential over time. On League of Comic Geeks, this visibility comes through ongoing activity such as writing reviews, updating collections, commenting on discussions, and curating lists. These repeated actions not only increase visibility, but also help stabilize relationships between users, critical for League of Comic Geeks as it is any social media platform, as, over time, sustained interaction builds into more durable community ties. In practice, this means that recognizable contributors often become informal centers of visibility within the platform. An important feature of the League's social environment is its inclusivity. Based on broader observation, as well as my own personal experience as somebody who is categorically LGBT, both the platform and its community is welcoming, and it is accepting. Community interactions are generally supportive, and identity expression is often met with affirmation rather than resistance. While this is anecdotal, my experience as a transgender woman on the platform aligns with the findings of Byron and Damani, which highlight how digital spaces can offer meaningful forms of social support for queer and transgender users. This analysis shows how League of Comic Geeks illustrates the formation of digital fandom communities through platform affordances. Across the platform, identity expression, interpretation, and participation are all shaped by its technical and relational features. Users signal interest through activity, engage through shared material, and gain recognition over time. Fan objects circulate as shared reference points that structure interaction and connect users. What this shows us is that platform affordances do more than enable communication. Rather, they actively shape how communities form, how they are sustained, and how they remain coherent over time. Understanding this helps us better explain how social media platforms structure connection and community in digital culture.